republics live and die, and you can see it everywhere in the world. The Weimar Republic in Germany lived and died. This republic's going to live and die too. And it is like a pendulum, but I feel like the pendulum is at the top end right now. And if we rally enough energy between the autumn generation and the spring and summer generations, we could move it back to the center pretty quickly. But keeping it at the center is going to be difficult. And the only way we can do that, to keep it at the center, is for everybody to have a level playing field. The common law has to come back. People have to be truthful. You have to get to know your neighbor. Work in groups. United we stand is true. My name is Jeanne and I live in Millers Falls. I'm an individual more than anything else. I'm 57 maybe now this year, and I'm a mom, a wife, and just a smart woman, I guess. And I'm very interested in teaching people about how to be free. My husband and I have learned to fight the system with its own rules. We have got ourselves a Rules of Civil Procedure book for the court to find out what their game plan is. We have a Black's Law Dictionary to find out what the judge's rules are, and we have our Constitution, which is what we go by. And although I know a lot of people in the Free State are voluntarists, we're probably voluntarists in constitutional skin down here, because you can't be a complete voluntarist here in Massachusetts. It's just not going to happen. You're going to get killed right away. So we've learned to go into court with their own rules, write documents with their own rules, signing under sui juris rather than pro se, without an attorney, because an attorney representing you is just death at the start. Although we do have 2 attorneys on our side who are both Mass certified, and they want to do limited attorney representation, which is a new thing in Massachusetts. And for that, you can contract with an attorney, and you can write out what you expect that attorney to do. Should he come to court with you? Should he write your papers? Should he give you case law? Whatever it is. We've also learned very much to bring our own tape recorder, and to do that, you have to put in, at least in this state, you have to put in a motion to the judge to tell him that you're tape recording it. Because when you file indigency, another truth that many people don't know is that filing indigency in front of the court is tantamount to saying that you are a ward of the state. And when you become a ward of the state, they consider you incompetent to judge yourself and everything else. So the only way that you can get their papers and their tapes is if you order and pay for their tapes, because the government runs on money and power. So my suggestion is people learn to put in a motion to ask the judge for permission to bring their tape recorder, put it right on the table, and they walk out with it. Another interesting thing is the Citizens Rule Book. This is a cute little book that has in it the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and it has about, the biggest thing why I like it is it has jury rights in it. You can order them from wherever they're from, and you bring them to your State Department and have them apostilled. And once they're apostilled, then they become a state-sanctioned piece of literature. And I recommend to everybody, if you ever get to a jury trial, and we need to talk about that too, you should get a hold of these books, get them apostilled, and make sure every juror on your case gets one in their hot little hand before they go into that deliberation box. Another good tool is court watching. That's what we call it anyhow. A bunch of us come and sit behind the rail. We come with pre-written affidavits, blanks, that we check off different categories. You know, today I observed misprision of felony. Today I observed tantamount tampering with the witness, whatever it is. And at the end of the hearing, the court watchers check off and fill out their little affidavits, sign them, witness each other's, and give them to the person who was in front of the rail. And they get entered into the file almost immediately. Good evidence for later on. The thinking in court is to always speak and behave for appeal. It doesn't matter about the moment. You have to think ahead like a chess game, 2 or 3 steps, and do things and say things and get documents that are going to help you in the end game. It is an end game, by the way. The judges do not want you to shame them by taking an appeal. They do not want to have to answer to somebody higher up. Their job is to people farm you or cattle farm you, in by 9, out by 9:30, pay your money and you can go home. The 14th Amendment is what got us to where we are. The 14th Amendment, people mistakenly believe, is for slave freedom in Lincoln times, and it wasn't at all. It was about making corporate government in the 1800s in this country, and since that time it has just grown as a corporation honestly should grow. Any corporation, McDonald's or anybody else. And because of the 14th Amendment and the lack of knowledge about it, people don't know why we have privileges instead of rights. Our rights have been converted to privileges since 1868. And it was under martial rule then, and as you can see in Greenfield, we're under martial law now. It hasn't changed a whit. The taxes, in fact, are from that, because taxes were war taxes in the beginning. They were voluntary, and they were supposed to be removed after the war, but because of the 14th Amendment, we have been constantly in martial law, constantly at war, whether it's war with other countries, which I believe is wrong, or whether it's war on drugs, war on poverty. We're always at war, so we always have taxes. I can't suggest enough to the next 2 generations at least that you study the maxims more than you study the legalities, because the maxims are lawful, the legalities are legal. If you want to be able to sleep well at night, you have to have peace inside yourself. And to have that, you have to know you've done the right thing. Giving up rights in exchange for privileges is not a right thing to do. A right is an inherent quality that you get as a being on the ground. You know, when you're in it by yourself, it can be pretty overwhelming and very frightening. And when you know that there's somebody you can call, or somebody who can come and court watch for you, or somebody who has a book you don't have that might have the answer you need, networking is key in this movement. As long as we stand together and we have truth, we can't be defeated. But if we don't, we're in trouble.